couple of years ago, I ended up increasing my life insurance. One of the early questions was, are you a smoker? There was an association with smoking and lung cancer. The insurance companies don't really care what type of person you are. Smoking, believe it or not, is number 2 on the list of fatal diseases. Guess what number 1 is? Hey everyone, it's Opie here, back for another video. I went into the office today, just got back, so I thought I'll record something quickly. But on the way there in the morning, early in the morning, I'm driving by, on the freeway, and I look to the side of me, and I'm seeing a guy smoking in the car. Obviously, I've seen this before, but I saw this a number of times, and I'm going, gee, what are people thinking? Like in terms of smoking in this day and age. And obviously, I started thinking about this a bit more. Obviously, there's enough data out there, there's enough science, but why do people keep still doing it, It just didn't make sense. And I don't have the answer, obviously, but here are some stories and ideas. So, a couple of years ago, I ended up increasing my life insurance. And one of the main questions that they asked, one of the early questions was, are you a smoker? Have you ever been a smoker? And these two questions alone jump up your insurance premiums by 40 to 100%. And I looked at the stats actually, and that's what it goes up by. And depending on other conditions that you may have that are, indirectly related to smoking, it could be as high as 250%. So that's huge. So the insurance companies don't really care what type of person you are, how you live your life or not, but what they want to do is look at the statistics of people who smoke, people who don't smoke, and they can work out what type of diseases you're going to get, how early you'll die. And sadly, if you're a smoker, the chances of you getting some sort of fatal disease is fairly high, to the point that they've doubled the insurance premiums basically. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are a smoker, really consider at least, most people don't do this stuff for themselves. They do it for other people, in terms of, I'll quit smoking because I want to live long enough to see my children grow up, or I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. So they'll do things for other people that they don't do it themselves. Thankfully, I haven't had this problem before. I've quite easily said no thank you, and I've just moved on. Even today, I went to the office, thought I'll get some lunch, decided to go to Subway. I was on the phone outside Subway, and I see a guy sort of roaming around looking for something, and it became fairly evident that he was a homeless person. So I finished up my phone call. As I was about to go in, I go, I really should ask this guy if he's hungry. So I go, hey man, are you hungry? Have you had lunch? He's like, no, I haven't had lunch. I'm going, okay, cool. Do you want me to get you a Subway, like a foot long? And he goes, yes. So he was slurring his words. I couldn't really make out. I went inside and go, geez, what am I going to get him? Went back out and go, hey, what can I get you? What type of thing? And he goes, oh, anything, but just get me Benson and Hedges as well, and a ranch. And I'm going, what does that mean? And I go, is that a ranch dressing? And it took me a while to figure out that he was actually asking me to buy him cigarettes, ironically. I go, look, I'm sorry, dude, I can't buy you cigarettes, but I can still buy you lunch. And anyway, I said, look, is a BLT okay? And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I went in there, and I came out again. I go, hey, what salads would you like? And he's scrambling around. He's got some cigarettes on the side, and he asks me again some sort of other brand. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I genuinely did not know. And I thought he was talking to me about the ranch dressing again. So, and then it clocked on again. I go, oh God, this guy's asking me to buy him cigarettes. And I told him politely, I go, I'm really sorry, dude. I'm happy to buy you lunch, but I can't buy you cigarettes. Anyway, I don't know if he got it, because he wasn't in the right state of mind to have a proper dialogue. But anyway, I bought him lunch, and I wished him the best of luck, and I moved on. And he thanked me for it, which was obviously not the intention of me buying him lunch. But it was a really weird situation because his priority at that point in time was to get cigarettes and not have lunch, and he hasn't had lunch. And this was like later in the afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock. And it just got me thinking, why are people's priorities so, different to other people's, I guess. And, in terms of the literature and the scientific data into smoking, people were still smoking like heavily well into the last century, and it's only now that we've sort of tapered it off. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there were 6,000 plus clinical trials and articles published in the 50s doing some, there was an association with smoking and lung cancer and other sorts of diseases, but there wasn't a direct causation study done. And that was done in the early 60s. Something was published in 1964, and that's the only time where the Surgeon General of America ended up going, hey, we've done this trial, and now there is a direct causation link between smoking cigarettes and actually getting some sort of cancer, generally lung cancer, but it could be throat cancer, lips, tongue, and so forth. So, 6,000 studies that were done, but as I said, it's not direct correlation, but there was enough data there to go, maybe I shouldn't stop smoking. But obviously, there was enough things that were done by the cigarette companies that would push enough doubt into people's minds that would go, oh, maybe that data is not correct. There was doctors smoking at the time, and there was heaps of ads going, hey, what cigarettes do doctors smoke? Do they smoke Camels? Do they smoke this? Do they smoke that? So the tobacco companies were ruthless in the last century about how they marketed. Even in the 1920s and 30s, when the women's liberation movement was going on, they worked out half the population weren't smoking. Obviously the women, majority of them. So what did they do? They launched a huge campaign, and the campaign slogan was "Torch of Freedom." And they asked a bunch of sophisticated women to go and walk out in a parade. And as they were at the front of the parade, they got the paparazzi at the front, and they would light up, and that would basically be their freedom, and they would allow them to join the patriarch movement by allowing them to smoke. Hence, a whole bunch of women started smoking as well, and the tobacco companies ended up getting that 50% of the demographic buying into their lies, I guess. So we've come a full circle now to the point that smoking, believe it or not, is number 2 on the list of fatal diseases that leads to fatal diseases. Guess what number 1 is? Have a think. So it was number 1 before, now it's actually dropped to number 2. Number 1, believe it or not, is diet and lifestyle. I'll make a separate video all about that, about what the similarities between smoking and what's going on in terms of diet and lifestyle diseases. But I don't know if we can be thankful for this, but smoking has thankfully gone down to number 2. If you are thinking about giving up smoking, there's a book out there by Bob Carr, I think his name is, something Quit Smoking. I can't remember the name of the title. I'll try and put it up on the screen. But read that book, because I've had a couple of close friends who wanted to start a family, and both the husband and the wife were smoking at the time, and they've just gone, hey, we got to quit. It's not about us anymore. It's about, I want to obviously not have this going on when I have the baby coming out. And they both read the book and they quit overnight, cold turkey. And I was like, wow. And I've had another friend of mine do the same thing as well. So I personally haven't read the book, but I've heard good things about it. Seems to work from other people as well. Amazing reviews. So go read that book if you are considering or wanting to quit smoking. Good resource. The other thing is obviously social pressures and peer pressure by other people who are sort of doing it, just to be part of the cool kids. I think that's less of an issue with smoking these days because most people know the negative aspects of it, at least you would think, right? So I don't think that's a big thing these days. At least I hope it isn't. If it is, all I can say is just worry about your own health. Forget what your friends and colleagues and peers are telling you in terms of how cool it is to smoke. And I don't think I really hope that's not the case now. I remember when I was, early in my life when I was DJing and, out in the clubs. And I'm sure if you're old enough, you would remember as well. You were allowed to smoke in the club, especially in Melbourne. And when you walked out of the club, your entire body would reek, your hair would smell. No matter what time I came home, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, I would have a proper shower, clean myself, and get into bed. It was disgusting. And, I'm not really a fan of government intervening with our lives at all, but that's one thing that I am thankful for. They, stopped allowing people to smoke indoors, especially in, clubs and restaurants and so forth. But this video has gone on for, a lot longer than I wanted to, but please just, if you're not going to quit for your sake, do it for someone else's, someone that actually cares about you, wants you to live longer and, be part of their lives. Thank you. I'll speak to you in the next one. Catch ya.